Hello everybody. So this is going to be my second bag repair tutorial for you guys. This is going to be touching on touch-up paint as well as repairing the piping along the bottom of the bag, which I know a lot of you guys have problems with. So enjoy. Okay, here I'm going over all of the damages on this Stitch costume bag. So you can see there's a couple pinholes and a couple blemishes on top of Stitch. You're also going to see that I'm showing you the piping is damaged. And then also on the back of the bag, you're going to see that there is a stain between two of the stitches. Okay, so here I'm showing you the leather craft cement that I'm going to use to go ahead and start filling in these pinholes. And also glue down parts of the stitch that just seem to have like a slit. So you're just going to put a tiny amount on some sort of tray or side piece of plastic or really anything. I would advise taking, a pin or a safety clip or a safety pin or toothpick would work. Just something with a fine tip. And what you're going to go ahead and do is you're going to put this leather cement inside of the pinholes. So you're going to see me putting in the glue. I know this isn't really zoomed in and I apologize, but so you're going to put as much of the glue as you can inside of the hole. And so you see there's a couple pinholes on this bag, so I'm going ahead and putting it inside of all of the holes. So you'll notice that sometimes on these bags I'm putting in the glue and then pushing down. So particularly on the stitch that I'm working on right here is that you're gonna see the part of the bag that was slit away didn't actually detach. So I'm actually just gluing back the part of the bag that was pushed up. So once I've added the glue and I've let it dry just a little bit, I've noticed that there was a piece of the bag I couldn't get to lay flat, so I actually just sanded it down with a very fine sanding block. You can get these at Walmart or Home Depot for about $2. I'm taking the tip of a razor blade to push down the excess bag back into the hole, and I'm just kind of going to keep reapplying glue and keep kind of doing this process until the bag stays. You're going to have to do this a couple times with really bad pinholes, but you can see the one that I repaired with the stitch that has like the beach towel for a cape. It only took me one try with him, and it took me about 2 tries with the stitch with the guitar. Alright, here I'm finishing up the bag, and when I'm done, you're going to see me apply glue directly to the repairs that I've done. This is just going to add an extra layer of protection for the repairs so they do not deteriorate over time. So this is the best/worst part of repairing bags, is finding the right colors to match the existing bags. Loungefly likes to use very unusual shades of existing colors, so it's going to be the bane of your existence and probably the most time consuming of the entire process, is just trying to match the colors that you need to paint on the bag. So in this instance, you're going to see me mixing a whole bunch of different colors of both acrylics and out of my leather repair set to try and match the stitch blue that I'm going to go ahead and paint over while the glue is drying. This is a process that's going to be very much trial and error, but you see I eventually got the color and I matched it, and I was able to fix up a few spots on 2 of the stitches. Next, I'm going to go ahead and start repairing the cream color. This was also quite difficult to match because it wasn't quite cream and it wasn't quite off-white. But again, you eventually will find that color with enough patience and time, and you will be able to match it. So here's an overview of the damage on the piping of the stitch bag, and this is what I'm going to be working on next to repair while I'm letting the paint and leather glue and everything dry on the repairs from the front of the bag. Okay, after I get the bag situated and quasi-flash you guys a couple times, I'm going to take that fine sanding block that I showed you earlier in the video and try and get off some of the excess material from the piping that seems to be deteriorating from the bag. Again, you don't have to do this very intense or very hard. You definitely don't want to risk scratching up the other parts of the bag. You're going to see later on in this video that I actually end up taping, yeah, there you go. I end up taping with painter's tape around where I'm going to be working, just so I can go ahead and sand and also put the glue where I'm going to put it without risking doing any additional damage to the rest of the bag. So see, it protected the bag while I was sanding. So this is how you're going to go ahead and repair the piping. You're going to take that leather cement glue that you saw me use earlier for the pinhole repairs, and you're actually just going to go ahead and apply it to the divots that the deteriorating bag piping leaves. Anytime you see the piping on the bags start to deteriorate, you can almost tell that there's two different levels. So you're just going to use this glue as a filler. You're going to fill in where that leather came off, and you're going to just try and make it look like a solid continuous piping loop once again. I know the glue doesn't look very appealing right now, but you gotta give it time to dry, and once we paint over it, you'll never know. So a really good tip is while you're waiting for one section to dry, you can go ahead and continue and work on the other parts of the piping. Typically bags with piping damage don't have it in just one place. It's at least in two corners, maybe three. So while you're waiting for one corner or one section to dry, feel free to move on to the next sections. That's what I'm doing here, is I'm going and repairing the other corners while I'm waiting for the first corner I started to work on to dry. So now that I've given the original corner time to dry, I've checked it, it's not tacky, it didn't stick to my finger. So I'm going to go ahead and put a second layer of glue on. You really want it to be smooth, fill in the rest of what you didn't get on the first time. Again, I know this looks terrible now, but I promise you it'll look great later. Again, just use your fingers to smooth it all out. Doesn't take very much. And again, I'm going to do this process over all of the repairs I've done on the corners and throughout the piping of the bag. So while I'm letting all of the second layers of the glue dry, I'm going to go ahead and address some of the stains and splotches on the back of this bag. I had already had the paint from painting the front of the bag earlier, so I'm just going in and I'm going to touch up the back where all of these stains and splotches are with the same color I used in the front. Pretty simple. So now that I'm done touching up the back of the bag, I'm going to go ahead and revisit the piping. So it looks like the glue is dried and it's ready to be painted. So here I'm just going to take the black leather paint from the vinyl leather repair kit that I have. And black is the easiest color. You're literally just going to pump it out and paint it on, and it's going to look fantastic. It really blends well with the black vinyl piping that Loungefly uses. So this is a final look at the piping after it's been painted and repaired. I think it looks really great considering how it started off. I know it looks a little coarse in the pictures or the video, but really when you see it in person, it actually looks like leather. So now this is the final overview of all the repairs that I've done on the bag. So you can see there's no more puncture marks in the front. I've cleaned the bag. It was kind of dirty. It had some stains all over the place. I've cleaned it up really well. You can see that I've covered up the stains on the back of the bag that was in between the two stitches. You can see that the piping has been fully repaired. So this is a bag that's good to go. It was just slightly damaged and now it's got a whole new life. Thank you guys for watching my video on how to repair this bag. I'll have more coming soon, I promise. I'm sorry I fell behind. I didn't mean to. But I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.